The 11th day of November 2025, a day where we get to find out what actually killed the 8 persons who perished on August 6th in that unfortunate helicopter crash. The investigations have been submitted to President Mohammed. Today, it will be made public. You're welcome to the show. There's a lot that we'll talk about and unpack. We'll talk about the vetting of Chief Justice nominee Paul Bafuboni and the minority staging a walkout. We'll get to also talk about the 9% salary increment for public sector workers and how come the labor unions are agitating against it. All this and more here on the show. We'll also get to talk about the National Youth Summit. Please don't miss any part of today's show. Let me start by motivating you. Our motivation this morning is by Rabindranath Tagore, who says, "You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. You need to take that step, bold step, and cross that sea." So that's our way of motivating you this morning. Let's bring you our word for this morning.
Today's word is Z-I-N-G. Zing. It's a noun. Zing means a quality that makes something interesting or exciting. Let's exemplify it. The director told the actor to add a bit of zing to his character to hook the audience. Zing.
All right, so that's our word for you this morning. Let's bring you our video for this morning, and then we'll head to the court.
Relax.
Captain has joined us. All right. Captain, good morning.
Good morning, Lily. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
Well,
today is Tuesday.
We can be
It's going, sure.
But yesterday, the CJ nominee took his turn before the appointments committee in one that was quite historic. I mean, a lot of banters, a lot of yemping.
Yeah, so director, pause here for me. I'll go back a bit and pause here for me. Let me do some small exercise here. So yes, yesterday at the appointment committee of parliament, but did you anticipate the drama? I think it was something that we did expect.
Yes, actually I expected more.
The minority earlier indicated that they were not going to walk out. Then all of a sudden there was a U-turn.
I saw, interestingly, I saw an artwork by a colleague media house that said, I think GHOne said.
So yesterday, Lily, at the appointment committee, in fact, when you talk about judges,
the creme de la creme.
Yes.
They were all there.
The finest, all the justices that you can talk about within the Supreme Court bench were present at in Parliament. So not only judges, but let me start from the far end. You have the former, I cannot actually make out this person, but this is the former GBA president.
Yes.
Yabuafo, a champion. Deputy Attorney General Dr. GHOne. Yesterday he was in court for the Sky Train matter. Moments after, yesterday also came up yesterday. Then Maria Bruapia, upon also the former Attorney General. Then you have some security man. Then the man of the moment, Justice Paul Bafuboni. Yesterday, he gave us some interesting bites, including how including how Atayi issue came to the fore, and all of that. Very interesting.
That generates a lot of controversy, especially on social media.
Then Justice Gabriel Palmer, yesterday his issue came to the fore, and you see the objections and all of that. Yesterday he was also present. Behind him directly, Justice Senior Jamefe.
A special good morning to you, Justice Jamefe.
Absolutely. Good morning, my lord, and good morning to all the justices of the Supreme Court who were there. And Justice Liz Johnson is also there. She was also there. So, Director, you can rule us. And you see the woman behind Justice Paul Bafuboni. That is Mrs. Bafuboni in there. She was there. And then some government officials. I'll say, let's also pause here a bit. The man in the smile. Can you make him out?
Amadou Tanko?
Justice Omoro Yusufu Amadou Tanko.
Yes.
So yesterday he was there. Clearly you can see Justice Jamefe. And there's this man also here smiling. That's Justice Samuel Esiedu. He was also a justice of the Supreme Court. And Marita Bruapia upon extending some hands over there. And the former director of law school, Yao Opon, currently a justice of the Court of Appeal. And some traditional leaders. And of course, go back a bit. Let me show you something else. The president, the former outgoing, should I say outgoing? Because I'm not sure that whether the handing over has been done yet. Justice Henry Anthony Kofi is in there, also seated very quietly, and so some of the justices also behind him. I've also seen the Justice Kwekute Wiakabuafo also present at this particular point, and then you see some. Xavier Sosu, Francis Xavier Sosu, like I mentioned, Justice Kwekute Wiakabuafo, Amadou Tanko, Henry Anthony Kofi, all of them there. But I know that in the inside out, you'll be talking about, so let's roll the visual, you'll be talking about more of what actually transpired at the appointment committee of parliament. But what I can tell you, Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kolendi, he's always in the nose marks in the Justice Samuel Esiedu, in the Justice Hafizata Malibuba, also present yesterday. And then Dominic Dennis J. He's also there. I can spot him in there. Justice Hafizata Amariboba. And some justices of the Court of Appeal also present in there and all of that. So yesterday it was really, really a packed atmosphere, especially when we have to do with justices of the Superior Court. Literally all of them were present to lend support. Yes, Attorney General Dr. Dominica Yini, Francis Xavier Sosu in there. And yesterday, like you mentioned.
Yesterday it was the judiciary in Parliament.
Yes. So you know that the reason we have separation of powers, yesterday it demonstrated an aspect of how the separation of powers work. You want to be, or president will nominate Parliament, which is the law-making chamber, will also have to scrutinize you. And then everything that will happen in Parliament eventually will also come to the court for the court to interpret them and all of that. So yesterday, we know what has happened. Minority boycotted it at a point. Somebody say, so you knew at some point in time you were going to walk away and it was going to be a lot of time in there. But of course, that is the beauty of democracy and all of that. I know you'll be playing the bite of the acting chief or the CJ nominee and subsequent during Inside Out and all that. So just in brief, to give you an idea about how the appointment committee of Parliament was yesterday when Justice Paul Bafobon was being vetted. And in fact, he is the most senior on the Supreme Court bench. And a lot of people were happy, just them a friend and some security. In fact, prison service authorities, because the wife of Justice Paul Bafoboni was also have to be there and all of that.
That's
beautiful.
Real authority.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kente there.
I love the former director of Ghana School of Law.
Yeah.
Very colorful.
He's a justice of the Court of Appeal as well. Yeah. Sitting down there very calmly and all of that. So yesterday, it was really an action-packed at the appointment committee of Parliament.
You mentioned that the Deputy Attorney General was in court for the Sky Train and then he had to dash to Parliament.
Absolutely.
What transpired at the Sky Train?
Yesterday, before Justice Audrey Kokuvite, officially the Sky Train case began. When I say officially, the trial began. All that I'm saying is that the prosecution has started calling their witnesses, and yesterday, the first of the prosecution witness, Yao Odame Dakwa, a former board member of GIF, Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, was in court to testify. And Lily, the crux or the summary of his submission to the court by way of the witness statement that was adopted by the court were that at no point did the board that he was part of considered the issue of SkyTrain. It only came out, the SkyTrain project only came out. They never discussed funding. They never approved funding. To the best of his knowledge, the issue about SkyTrain was not discussed by the board. The board that he said between 2017 and 2020, that never came up in court. So for how that $2 million was released or led to, was lost, it is for the accused person now. And that is Mr. Solomon Asamoah yesterday dashing into the court for the proceedings. So the first prosecution witness is saying that he's a former board member, I beg your pardon. There was no point that the issue of money or funding was discussed. And Professor Christopher Meyakunfi was the board chair and the CEO of GIF, Mr. Solomon Asamoah, currently are before the court responding. Tomorrow, it will come up where lawyers of the first accused persons will continue with cross-examination of the witness. So yesterday, officially, Professor Christopher Meyakunfi, the former board chair of GIF, Mr. Solomon Asamoah, the former CEO of GIF, their trial in relation to the misappropriation of $2 million has started.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then the coup plotters case. That trial has been going on and on and on and on. I understand now somebody has been granted bail 2.5 million cedis.
Yes, 2.5 million cedis. So,
but why was his lawyer carrying Jesus Loves You?
quite interesting. Kome Vijochi, and pretty surely we'll hear from him. But in relation to this case, let me take you back to January last year, 2024, where this is an offense that an act that is said to have offended the Constitution when you attempt to overthrow government. So 10 persons, treason. Yes, treason, high treason. In fact, they were charged for high treason. Dr. Frederick Yao Palm of the blessed memory, he died in the course of the trial. So Dr. ACP Benjamin Agozo came in at the end of the trial. He was acquitted and discharged. Kojo Gameli acquitted and discharged. But in all, out of the 9, 6 of them were convicted and sentenced to death, not life in prison, to death when you offend the Constitution by way of high treason and you are found guilty, you are to die. And the court said they are to die by hanging. But in Ghana, you know, until the president signs for your execution, you have to be in condemned cells. One of the convicts, Alan Fosu Deborah, remember that when he was testifying, when he had the opportunity to open his defense, I told you about the fact that he said those pieces of videos that came to the fore, he had made at some point in time, yes, I can see myself there, but they pieced the videos together to look like Kunkun Bagja. You know that we have seen Kunkun Bagja where we see like some Chinese people speaking the local language, speaking Twi. He made references to that particular video that was brought. Indians. They are Indians. They are Indians. Thanks for the correction. So he makes the point that yes, those videos were pieced together in the form of Kunkun Bagya just to implicate him. It didn't save him at the time, so he was convicted together with 5 others, including a military woman. And then fast forward, his lawyers are seeking to appeal against their conviction and the sentence. So fast forward about almost a little over a year now, they have filed some of the processes already. Yesterday, they were before the High Court. In fact, a panel of 3, Justice John Eugene, Nyedu Nyante, Justice Ruby Aite, and Justice Kizita Nako Wakwashi listened to submissions, and the court was of the considered view that he has been able to demonstrate, or exceptional circumstances has been demonstrated, for which the court will have to exercise discretion in his favor. So consequently, he was granted bail in the sum of 2.5 million Ghana cedis. 2 sureties, one of them is to be justified with landed properties. The court also warned that he should be placed on stop list by the police, never to travel. His passport and all traveling documents should be placed before the court, notify the court, or he can only travel by the express permission of the court. And within 6 months from now, he should make sure that he's filed all his appeal process. And guess what? Because this case is an offense or an act that offends the Constitution, if you're appealing, you do not go to the Court of Appeal. You go straight to the Supreme Court and go and appeal against that decision. So that was what happened in relation to Alan Deborah's bail application. Moments after, you were asking about the lawyer, Komi Vijochi was carrying Jesus Loves You and all of that. Let's see the interaction that I had with him moments after. The glory of
global, this month is our month of aggressive evangelism, so we're carrying it wherever we're going to.
Is it a coincidence your client, Alan Deborah, has just been granted bail? He was sentenced to death, actually. He's been granted bail. Is that the reason you are carrying this?
No, whilst coming to court, I just felt like that if this is a month of aggressive evangelism, I may as well carry a placard just to celebrate the name Jesus. And we just move a bail application on behalf of our client to the glory of the Lord. He's been granted bail. Someone who was on death row. Come on. This only God. I'm excited over the top. Jesus did this one too.
The court said your argument, you were able to demonstrate exceptional circumstances. What exactly was your argument?
Our submission was essentially based on 2 grounds, especially as far as the exceptional circumstances are concerned. The first is the fact that there was evidence that the court looked at whilst freezing the right of the accused person and counsel from objecting. That's contrary to Section 6(1) of the Evidence Act. You don't review evidence before you take objections. But secretly recorded videos and audios were looked at by the panel of 3 judges, whilst counsel and the accused persons were not allowed to raise any objection. And after the court had finished reviewing the videos, it now went ahead and said, you can now raise any objection. By that time, the court was already prejudiced. And this is an exceptional circumstance because it breaches statute and also the Constitution. In addition to that, we've demonstrated other circumstances that show that the accused persons were not given a fair trial. For example, we've quoted from page 415, I think chapter 25 of ACP Agodio's book, he was the 10th accused person in the case. And he outlined several breaches of the constitutional rights and other rights of the accused persons. And so we are very confident that this appeal we will succeed. And I'm not surprised that the court, by God's grace, has granted us bail pending that.
Within 6.
So, Komivi Jochi, counsel for Alan Deborah, and the leader is Martin Pebu, in there giving us why he was carrying that placard, Jesus loves you. But what is clear is that Alan Deborah Fusu, now he's been granted bail, and the court said that if within the time frame he's not able to 6 months, he's not able to file all the processes to the Supreme Court for the appeal, that bail conditions will be revoked. And the prosecution has been urged to take that up immediately. He reneged on that particular one. So that's one of the things that took place in relation to what has happened. And Democracy Hub.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I told you about the fact that there was a case before the court where they were asking the court to injunct, especially so because the Interior Ministry and the Ghana Immigration Service has said that persons who are arrested in relation to Galamsey issues who are foreigners will be dispatched to their respective countries. Yesterday, the case was adjourned. Let's hear from Oliver, who is lawyer for Democracy Hub.
This is the second time that the Republic has failed to comply with the orders of the court. Our case is simple, that the Republic cannot continue to deport foreign nationals, including Chinese nationals who are engaged in Galamsey in the country, while Ghanaian citizens are being prosecuted. There's a lack of fairness, there's a lack of due process inherent in that. Again, the state has failed to file the processes that are required before the court, meaning that the court has been compelled to adjourn. They filed their response this morning. The substance of their response is that the government wants to continue to deport foreign nationals and continue to prosecute Ghanaians. It is revealing, and we're going to share the full detail of what they have filed with the press subsequently. But what we have gotten indication so far that since January this year, the Republic has deported over 300 individuals who are foreign nationals, and we think that this is a breach of our laws. This does not reflect government commitment to dealing with Galamsey decisively. So we'll continue to show up on the 26th. Hopefully we'll then move the application and for the court to decide whether to continue to allow the government to deport foreign nationals or to prevent them by way of an injunction. But the substantive matter itself, had been filed for a while. In fact, they have now also filed their defense in the substantive matter. So we're going to move along also with that matter henceforth now. And hopefully, before we return, we'll be taking directions on the court to start a full trial against the state in that matter. No, we are technically concerned, but the good thing is that once you have filed an application for an injunction, the law is that it states the government is supposed to respect the injunction. And so what we are going to be doing is that we're going to audit, since we filed the application for injunction, and now, whether the government has continued to deport foreign nationals. We know that several individuals have since been arrested, and if they have been deported, then that would be contempt of the court, and we do intend to pursue contempt charges against the Minister for Interior.
On the Democracy Hub injunction that is before the court, Justice Reverend George Akins Ampia Boni. National Service, those names. You know that we told you about the fact that Osei granted bail, but unfortunately he's not been able to meet the 800 million and 6 sureties conditions. So he's still in lawful custody. His lawyers have filed an application for bail variation. Yesterday it came up, but the court already received the processes. Court presided over by Justice Marie Lewis Simmons. You wanted to hear the name, and today I've given you the name. So the parties were urged to, after it came up in court.
Wait, so since the last time he was in court, that he was taken into custody, he's been in custody?
Yes, so on the 30th of October, he appeared in court, responded to all the 14 counts, pleaded not guilty. He was granted bail, 800 million Ghana, 6 sureties, all of them to be justified, placed on a stop list, and all of that, reports, deposit passports at the registry of the court, and all of that. He's also supposed to report to investigators at some point. As we speak, he's not been able to meet the conditions, and the lawyers think that it is onerous, and he's not able to meet that. So they want bail variation. So tomorrow, that particular bail variation will be considered by the court presided over by Justice Marie Lewis. So I know we have taken much of your time. Expect more on Newsroom And tomorrow when we can, we'll come and give you more by way of what is coming.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's it for today. Let's head to the sports world.
Ah oui, attention parce que là, elle a été abandonnée. Quel arrêt magistral! Mais ce n'est pas terminé. On est une race de réparation. Et on fait l'ouverture du score donc pour l'équipe ghanéenne. La gardienne béninoise a été presque abandonnée par ses partenaires. Le ballon profite bien entendu à Sarah Inyarko qui inscrit son 3e but dans cette compétition. On va faire place maintenant au coup franc ghanéen. On joue le temps additionnel.
So that takes us to the sports world, and Jones has joined me in studio. Jones, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I'm all right.
You look
different.
Yeah. But you look good.
Different is normal. Different is.
but you look good.
Thank you.
What's up with the sports? We are the masters.
Oh.
Ajuo, but
oh.
You know.
Oh, the referee. Okay.
Yeah, they tipped that team, but
it was offside.
Inshallah.
You'll be back.
We will be back. We will rescue phobia.
Anyway, we want to start off from the Black Princesses with that highlight that we saw there. They are in the Wafubi tournament, and there you see the girls enjoying themselves. They actually beat Benin. The tournament is happening in Benin and in the first leg. So it's an all-play-all tournament. And we lost to Nigeria, and today we'll play our final game up against Nigeria. We lost to Nigeria 3-1. So let's see if the Black Princesses can go all out and then get a win. So when they do get a win today, they would be top of that table. But then initially we lost. Nigeria actually beat us 3-1. But this game was yesterday when we beat Benin by 2-0. Well, let's head to some beach volleyball tournaments because we saw the Tour de Accra happen, and congratulations to the Air Force. The Air Force, they made sure that they came up tops, and interestingly, both male and female tournament, they were first. And this is the Tour de Accra tournament that happened over the weekend, where we saw the Air Force claim gold in both categories. Congratulations to them. The police and the others tried very much to come tops, but it went to the Air Force team. And let's head to hockey, because the Yasantewa Girls School and then Adisadel College, yes, they were crowned champions of the first ever hockey championship for SHS students, and they made sure that they got the gold in that tournament. Well, the sports minister Kofi Adams was there. He's been speaking. He's revealed that yes, we have plans for school sports, but now we are not going to make sports in schools an afterthought. It is going to be a priority, and we're going to make sure that we put money in there. If there is no time, we will still do school sports. Let's get to listen to Kofi Adams.
Sports agency that will be responsible solely for school sports, right from the basic levels. What it means, seniors gathered here and our young students, is that school sports will no longer become an afterthought issue. It will no longer become considered only when GES says they have money. What it means is that we will no longer sacrifice sports when there is no time. Sports will be integrated into the school system right from the basic level. Most times, because of how it is run, when there is no time, sports is sacrificed. When there is no money, sports is sacrificed. With the establishment of this school sports agency, that will not happen again. Budget will be allocated.
Well, with that, school sports, if there's no time, crowd will do sports. Finally, the Super Volleyball Championship is with us here, and let's get to watch this quick promo. So, from the 16th to the 23rd, at the Boteman Sports Complex, we would have the Super Volleyball Championship. We'll be live on GHOne TV. We'll be bringing that to you. So, make sure that let's link up at the Boteman. I don't know if you love volleyball, though.
Interestingly, I struggle to understand it. Even though, as a child, I used to see my
people.
play
It's very simple. It's very simple.
But I like it. But I never got to.
We'll take you to Boteman. 16th. Sunday, dear, say you are free. We'll come in.
It says who?
Sorry. Okay. Anyway, you can watch it on TV. But then the 16th to the 23rd, the Super Volleyball Championship will be happening at Boteman. We'll be live on GHOne TV. We're bringing that to you. And with that, saying a good morning to my audience. They are the reason why my beard is off. But I'm a man of my word. We're outside. Good morning.
Anyway, good morning to Jones. That should do for sports. I take a break, and when I return with my guests, and we'll do a bit of a post-mortem of all the issues, particularly the vetting of the Chief Justice nominee. We're back shortly. Stay with me. NDC Communications team.
Great. The morning after the night before.
The morning after that interesting vetting of CJ nominee Justice Paul Bafuboni was split on partisan lines. The minority on one side and the majority on one side. The minority claiming that it was a travesty of justice, especially on the back of the removal of Justice Gertrude Arabesaba Saki-Tokuno. I'm going to start with the minority.
Okay.
Ishak.
Yes.
Is Arabesaba Saki-Tokuno a sympathizer of the NPP or a member of the NPP? Because the extent to which the NPP is interested in her case is quite baffling. Okay. Is it that the NPP is looking forward to upholding a certain rule of law, or you are trying to defend one of your own?
Thank you very much. I like the way you say you are starting with the minority. Obviously, I'm not part of it. I'm not part of the parliamentary.
I'm starting with the minority as in the NPP.
Yeah, so I don't want the GTech representative for misrepresenting myself. Nevertheless,
well, let me say I'm starting with the NPP because it will not just be the minority in Parliament that have made commentary on the back of the removal of Chief Justice and then the nomination of Justice Bafuboni, but members of the NPP.
Okay, let me make it very clear. Justice Tokuno, the former Chief Justice, is not a member of the NPP. In fact, she shouldn't be a member of the NPP.
Okay.
And I don't think she's a sympathizer of the NPP. But why is NPP playing such a role, especially the minority? You see, when you are a minority in Parliament, you are having a constitutional role to play. Minority usually represent the voice of the voiceless, especially if the ruling government is oppressing the voiceless. That is a constitutional role of a minority to play.
And in this instance, the voiceless is the judiciary?
No, the voiceless is the Chief Justice, first of all. She's the immediate victim.
She doesn't
and
have...
the judiciary itself, the judicial independence.
Okay.
You see, the Chief Justice herself is a victim, and she's voiceless. And the judiciary at large, their judicial independence, we believe, is being undermined. And that is the constitutional role of the minority to play. And I believe they are playing it quite well. It just because the seed of that disagreement in Parliament yesterday was sought by the NDC. They have not made secret of it. They have made it very clear, even when they were in the opposition, that when they come to power, they were going to put members of their political party in the judiciary. And they made it very clear that when they come to power, the Chief Justice was one of their targets they were going to deal with. Now, if you look at what was happening in Parliament, you could just see that the majority was using their numbers to bully the minority. The Constitution have guaranteed the right to speak. And the minority was simply trying to exercise that. And again, just like the way they hide around Article 146 as a clock to remove the Chief Justice, they were trying to hide around rules and regulations to stifle free speech, even in Parliament.
Is that not what we're governed by as a country?
No.
But the country is governed by rules. The fact that you have the freedom to speak does not mean that you are at liberty to say anything or to speak when you're not supposed to. Is that not it?
Look, in a democracy, I agree that there are decisions that need to be made, and usually the majority will make some decisions.
Sure.
But nevertheless, the Constitution saw the need that even in a democracy, there are certain things that are also reserved for minority. It's for this reason that we have Article, this is the Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution, that guarantees certain fundamental rights. And it is simple because of those rights. We don't want the majority to keep encroaching on it. I mean, if you look at the exchanges and you're a fair-minded person and you look at how the exchanges was going on in Parliament, I mean, if you're a fair-minded person, you just see that Honorable Ayaraga was clearly wrong.
How?
Look, they are there to vet the Chief Justice. But it is not as if it is uncontroversial. The minority was not just there to endorse it. All that they wanted the minority to come was to lend it some kind of legitimacy. But the minority has made it very clear that the circumstances in which we are vetting the new Chief Justice is an unusual circumstances.
How is it
because somebody we believe has been unfairly removed. Even her rights as a former Chief Justice was not even respected.
Okay, you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. I am not. So and I'm sure a lot of viewers watching will need some form of education.
Okay.
Does any law bar the appointment of any person on the back of a pending case? You're a lawyer.
Look, so when we do in politics, I'm not saying I'm not going to talk about the law.
No, I know. I asked you on the back of the law, not politics.
Let me come. The argument the minority is giving is that there are pending cases in court. So those pending cases, we have a case in the High Court, and there's also the ECOWAS Court, and they are yet to make decisions. Now, let's assume they made a decision in future, and you succeeded in appointing a Chief Justice. And let's assume both courts were to say that the Chief Justice was right all along. The decision maker, the president, plus the committee that sat on a case is wrong, and that you should reinstate her. If such a decision were to be made, and then you have already passed through some constitutional process to appoint a new Chief Justice, aren't you muddying the waters?
But why are you assuming a certain ruling from the court? Why are you assuming that it will go
But when things are in court, it could go either way.
Exactly.
All that the minority is saying that if you change new facts on the ground, i.e. by appointing a new Chief Justice, and if the outcome of the case were to be favorable to the to the removed Chief Justice, aren't you going to further muddy the waters? Are you going to remove the new Chief Justice and reinstate her? Or what exactly are you going to do? So all that we are saying is that you could have even speed up the current cases, especially those that are in Ghana. We have the potential to speed them up. Why can't we do that? And the question is, what is the need for the rush? The gentleman concerned is already the acting Chief Justice. What would change if he become a substantive Chief Justice?
He will be cloaked with certain powers to act within a certain...
What powers is the acting Chief Justice lacks that we need to clothe him by vetting him and then make him a substantive Chief Justice? What kind of powers do you think he cannot exercise when he's acting? Can you explain to me? You say he'll be clothed with more powers. What are they?
He's only in an acting capacity. Doesn't mean that he can
but
exercise every power there is as a CJ?
As far as I am concerned, there is no bar as to how he will act as an acting Chief Justice. And maybe 1 or 2 months to speed up the process will not destroy anything. So what would he destroy?
So I ask,
Yeah.
Does any law
Yes.
again bar
Yes.
the nomination of a person on the back of a pending case?
No, I'm not aware of any law, but what I've just explained to you that...
So in this instance,
Yes.
there was no travesty of justice, was there?
No, on the part of the outgoing Chief Justice, of course. Her removal is unfair.
But
her
Parliament
removal
was
is just
simply
wrong. That's the
exercising
travesty
its
of justice he was talking
constitutional
about.
Parliament was simply exercising its constitutional duty.
No, you said there was no travesty of justice, which is wrong. Because you can see the complaint, there is no travesty of justice. She will not be in court if she doesn't believe that she was wrongly removed.
It was not a statement. I asked the question.
Okay. No, I thought you were saying it in reference to what Afenyo Market said in Parliament, that he was asked to withdraw.
I am asking a question.
Yes. For me, I believe she was wrongly removed. Article 146 was just used as a pretense. And for me, the right thing to do would be to allow her case to come to an end. Then we can have a new clean slate of which we can appoint a new Chief Justice.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to you. Council, good morning.
Good morning, Lily. I miss you.
I miss you too. It's been such a long time. You abandoned us.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on, yes.
On the back of the nomination and vetting of the Chief Justice, Paul Bafuboni, the members of the minority and the NPP think that it is simply wrong. Let me put it in that way, for want of a better expression. It is simply wrong. And for you, as the majority and the members of the NDC, you think that the law is the law, and so it must continue. Why?
Good morning to your viewers. Good morning to my brother Ishak here. What we saw yesterday was really disruptive, amateurish, and it was unbecoming of such a group to behave that way. It was, if they continue that way, they are going to be in opposition for a long time. I will tell you that I monitored Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc., trying to just guess mood of comments. And if you had done same, you would have seen that lots of people were disappointed in them. I don't know why he can't agree that their behavior showed clearly that they were only fighting for the interest of the Chief Justice Emeritus. Let me help my brother here. He shouldn't answer, but the viewers out there should answer. And it is not too long ago when we had a certain man still alive called Domelevo, who was yanked from office. The case was in court whilst he was yanked from office. He later won the case. What happened to him? That will answer his case, that he meant what will happen to the outgone Chief Justice. You see, the case of Madam Araba Isaba Saki Tokono is a closed book. That junction and train station, the train had departed. We are.
How do you call it a closed book when it's still in court?
Let me tell you something. I've said it several times here. I mean, you ask him the other side, the reverse. We have appointed Habamus, as the Catholics will say, Habamus Papam. We have Habamus Chief Justice. We have a new one. If she ever wins her case, we'll use the Domelevo yardstick and deal with it.
Okay.
Now, let me correct something that they have flogged over and over and over.
Okay.
Ishak is a lawyer. If the Constitution enjoins him that if something is being done wrongly, he should go to court. Yes. And he's here saying that the people a year ago or 9 months ago who were saying that let's go to court today have seen that all of a sudden the judiciary are not interested. When he sues them, it's a bird. When he doesn't sue them, it's a vulture. Now they have overflogged. Ishak, do the viewers some bit of respect. The number of persons who were promoted to the High Court this year, about only 3 had not been judges already in the Circuit Court. Only 3. And those 3 were from the Attorney General's Department. And a great majority of those from the Circuit Court were appointed under Nana Akufo-Addo. So the idea to say that President Mahama says that I will appoint my own, I was there. I'm a member of Linsod. I'm a member of NDC lawyers. He didn't say that. And this has been debunked several times. This is overflogged. Let's move on. You see, I would have wished that he would have dealt with the idea that they said Justice Bafuboni will be conflicted. I am willing, if it will not disturb you, to take 1 minute of my time for him to address that. He sort of swerved that. If he can just, they said he will be conflicted. If we can hear their view on that.
Well, I'm sure he will have a rebuttal.
Yes, if we can hear their view on that. They all of a sudden, you see, Justice Bafuboni was appointed through the courts by MPP government. Today, he's no more one of their own. They've all of a sudden found that he belongs rather to NDC, and NDC is protecting him. Why should we all pander to the whims and caprices of Justice Esaba Araba Tokonu Emeritus? Because her case is in court, we shouldn't have any Chief Justice. We should all come to a standstill and wait until Lily, if tomorrow, as he is advocating, they fast track all her cases and finish, and tomorrow morning she files another one, then we wait. They'll fast track that one. Another day she files another one. They'll fast track all that. Why? Why should the system be like that? It doesn't happen. He's a lawyer, for crying out loud. It doesn't happen. Look, what we saw yesterday, maybe you have observed the judges. They are either smiling or squeezing their faces as to the way the minority were behaving. This is somebody who is going to be the head of the judiciary, the one you seek to protect. And now you want to hammer and destroy that person in front of the whole world. Then you are coming back to tell us judicial independence is at stake. Since when did we know that? When people can go to court at midday on Friday when the Supreme Court doesn't sit, then all of a sudden by 2 o'clock they will get a judgment. Yesterday, an issue that pricked my conscience. Justice Bafo-Bonny said almost a year he has never been empaneled. Almost a year he's never been empaneled. It means that he wakes up from house, dresses, go to the Supreme Court, maybe drink a cup of coffee or tea, maybe read newspaper or read himself some cases, come back home. And he wasn't alone. A number of them had not been empaneled for almost a year. Why? Then we pay them. Their brains are... So someone was causing financial loss over there. That shouldn't have happened. So what we have seen yesterday, and you see, let us praise some of the things he has come up with. Good things. Use of AI, electronic, the e-systems, etc. So that some of the biases that people perceive will be removed from the system. That is what we should celebrate.
Chuck.
Yes. So you could say my friend is committing a fallacy.
Okay.
That fallacy is where they say we have to be consistently wrong to be right. When the former Auditor General issue was there, you members of the NDC, I have not heard your own comments, was saying that his removal was wrong. And that if you remove him and appoint a new Auditor General, and it happens that his rights are vindicated in court, how do we deal with that issue? And here is a case you are arguing that we should use the same system that you said was wrong to deal with a new issue in the person of the Chief Justice. Aren't you committing a fallacy? So I don't really agree with you on this particular one, that we should use the former Auditor General issue as a precedent, because you say it was a bad precedent. After all, you campaign on research and that you were going to depart from the whole ways of doing things. How then can you put out such an argument? I think it's quite troubling. Okay. And for me, there's nothing wrong with speeding up a very important constitutional cases if that will help resolve issues, rather than taking new process that would actually muddy the waters. For me, I don't agree with that particular thing. And it just suggests that some people have an agenda, and they are implementing an agenda regardless of any outcome of any case. Okay. And that is where I think the minority has a constitutional role to play, to make sure that the majority is playing according to the rules set in the Constitution. And that is exactly the role they were playing.
Okay, again, yes. Cunningly not talk about.
You are not the host. You don't ask me questions.
He had a chance to rebut, and he chose not.
He chose not.
So
to.
you are.
I will explain to the viewers why he has chosen not.
No, you don't know. You can't read my mind.
Not to talk about the fact that the minority feels that Justice Bafo-Bonny will be conflicted because he is the one who will empanel judges to hear these cases. You see. Today is the first day I've not heard my brother talking about constitutional law. And when you talk about constitutional law, he goes that, no, I want to talk politics. Today is the first day. And it's very interesting. Yes, there is a doctrine called the doctrine of necessity, which he knows very well. And I'll only give him one case. In the famous case of Apalu versus Akufo-Addo versus Kwasi Aiden, the former president's father was a chief justice. Then there was a case that he will be involved in, okay? Then he is supposed to empanel the judges. One would have said that you can't be a judge in your own court. But the doctrine of necessity states that, if you will permit me, the function of the Chief Justice was to constitute benches of the Court of Appeal. As long as he remained in office and in the country, he performed that as part of his administrative duties. The only time in which another might be nominated to perform his functions where he was ill or absent from the country. Where a statute enjoined a person to perform an act, he had to do it, even if his performance conflicted with the strict rules of natural justice. So for me, to listen to lawyers, senior lawyers, who are leaders to say that empaneling will conflict the person when there are long line of cases that says that the doctrine of necessity states that even. So, for example, if you go and sue Justice Bafo-Boni now, and the case comes to the Supreme Court, he is the one to empanel the judges to sit in, even though it will conflict the natural justice, because it's a doctrine of necessity. The Act has stated that only the Chief Justice will be the one.
He's mandated.
He's mandated to do it. So for us to be sold that thing yesterday, that he is conflicted, that is why I'm saying that the action yesterday appeared amateurish, disruptive, and a poorly rehearsed strategy. It didn't go well for them at all. What we saw yesterday, the desire for the development of country was not exhibited by NPP yesterday. What they exhibited, they took over an hour, just to waste all of us. I think it was even about 2 hours, to waste our time. After that, they came, read something, and said, for this reason, we are not coming. Come on, even school children will not do that, unfortunately.
But let's look at the impact. You want to respond? Okay.
My colleague said he was going to speak about law. But then, if you listen to the exchanges, who was interrupting who? Was it the minority wasting everybody's time, or the majority interjecting every minute? Me, a fair-minded person, would know that the problem that happened yesterday was solved by the majority leader. I don't think it was the minority issue.
Okay. Let's look at the impact of the removal of Justice Tokunagbe.
Yes.
And then his coming into office, how it will impact his tenure.
You mean the coming to office of the new...
Justice of CJ. Okay, he's a CJ nominee.
He's
He's not being approved by Parliament yet, even though he's been vetted.
Obviously, the removal of the Chief Justice has made it very clear that the NDC as a party is a danger to our democracy. For me, look,
do you think it will cast any shadow on the judicial system?
Obviously. Especially, see, if you look at the spirit of the Constitution, it envisions judicial independence. And if you make the removal of the Chief Justice so easy that they can use any excuse. In fact, most of the things they are accusing the former Chief Justice...
If you say they can use any excuse...
Yes. I mean,
the
Constitution says stated misbehavior. There is this,
then maybe we need to amend our Constitution.
It is not properly explained. No, it was made for gentlemen. Here's the case. They are not gentlemen. It was made for gentlemen that will reserve it for the most serious things. Not
but
finding
it's still a constitutional provision, yes?
No, it's still what I say that, you see, if you, I'm not sure whether you are familiar with legal theory. So there is this theory by Professor Hart who said constitutional law and human rights law are created in open structured form. Because we create them in such a way that interpretations and other things would develop the Constitution. It is more or less an organism that needs to grow. Because since we made it in 1992, you could see that from 1992, almost quarter of the country are no longer with us. It will come to a time that 50, 100 years' time, those of us who approve it, if we are successfully in maintaining the Fourth Republic, they will no longer be here. And the future generation will be keeping it. So it's not meant to be rigid. It's meant to be interpreted in such a way that it will reflect current issues. And in such a situation, it's usually reserved for the best brains. And it's also meant for gentlemen to interpret the Constitution having the interests of the country at heart, but not just using it to serve their interests. In this particular instance, Article 146 was merely used to serve some people's interests. So if you do that, you are more or less endangering the very essence of having a constitution. So for me, certain misbehavior should have been reserved for the most serious issue. That if you were to tell a member of the public, this is what the Chief Justice has done, they will all frown upon it. Because the excuses that were used to remove the Chief Justice, most reasonable people will tell you these are not adequate. Especially a head of an arms of government. How could you use that? For me, it has a communicative effect that even the Chief Justice can be mistreated and be removed. And the rest of the members of the judiciary, you need to behave. Because if you misbehave or if you do something that the executive doesn't want, we'll use Article 146 to come after you. Okay. And for me, that will undermine the judicial independence that the Constitution envisions. And look, people don't want us to argue some of these things. Some of the things that they have accused her, investigate members of the executives and to see whether they have not done worse. Just investigate, ask. I mean, we are members of society. We know expenses. How many people in the executive that you even give accountable interest? And when they come, they will account and even send refunds. Look, you are part of Ghana. The executive, they are not even going for holidays with their partners. They go on holidays with extra people. I don't want to be mentioning names. Yes. Extra people. Yes. They go not just with their partner. How do you expect a Chief Justice to go on a vacation with only her security?
And you're saying this on authority. You say you don't want to mention it. You're saying this.
Oh, yes. I mean, the members of the executive, we are part of Ghanaian society.
So you know.
Yes. I think they misbehave. If this is a misbehavior, members of the executive actually misbehaves more than the judiciary. So for me...
Why not test it in court?
That's exactly what she's doing, isn't it?
No, but you're saying that if it's on those grounds, then
yes,
members of the executive are misbehaving. So why not test it in court?
How do you test it in court? There's something called standing. You don't just go to court unless you have standing, or unless you. But
you have stated it here
yes,
that you know that some
yes,
members of the executive.
I said as a member of Ghanaian society.
But you say you know.
Listen. The point is that the stated misbehavior was reserved for the most serious things.
Okay.
Not to use flimsy excuses to remove her.
That's a subject to interpretation, isn't it?
It's not. But that is why I just tell you in legal theory, constitutions are made in an open check way, such that it's for gentlemen. And then if they are going to implement it, they will have regard the interests of the country, not the interests of their political party or their personal hatred towards the lady.
Okay.
And when we speak about these things, then the allegations is that the Chief Justice is part of the MPP. And I've already made it very clear that
she's not.
The MPP that is forming majority of the minority in Parliament. I think we are the only minority in Parliament. I'm not sure whether the independents have aligned with them, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So we are the only minority in Parliament. Our constitutional role is to speak for the voiceless. And here is a case as a citizen. She's voiceless. She's vulnerable. They are playing their role quite perfectly well. I don't have issues with that.
Counsel, let me.
How can you speak for the voiceless when you have removed the voice for the people you want to speak for? You see, all of a sudden, my brother is back with constitutional law. Hallelujah. I'm grateful. All of a sudden, he's back. But again, let us not allow him to run with the idea that the majority caused disruption or were interjecting Apenyo Maki. He is a lawyer. Let me repeat. There's a principle in law that says that litigation must come to an end. The issue Apenyo was raising was discussed on the floor of Parliament. Motion was tabled, was ruled on. Now he brings it there, and they say we will not allow you to go along that line. He knows that we cannot continue litigating forever. Litigation must come to an end. You were asking whether the appointment of Justice Paul Bafuboni, the removal will cast a shadow. No. Okay. The appointment has opened a new chapter for the judiciary. The appointment of Justice Paul Bafuboni has opened a new chapter for the judiciary to assert its neutral and independent role in our democracy. Nobody will go to Justice Paul Bafuboni for a writ at 12 o'clock and expect ruling by 2 o'clock. It won't happen. Again,
but one of the things he mentioned yesterday, sorry to cut you, was the expedition of cases. You say that a case will not go at midday, will not be done by 2 p.m. He has spoken about expediting cases.
Yes, but not the one that you rush on Friday. That, hey, I am the majority leader, Osaberima or Osahin or something. Osahin, and so my case should be heard by this time. When even the court wasn't sitting, they don't normally sit on Friday. That's the thing. I don't actually know if Ishak was aware of the public sentiment towards Justice Isaba Araba Saki Tokono. our sister-in-law. I don't know whether he's aware. If he should just listen to radio stations, he uses the word fair-minded. Fair-minded people say, drop this and let's move on. It is not only stated misbehavior. They were saying that he used his discretion arbitrarily and capriciously by transferring people who question her duties. So he shouldn't just tell us that is the situation. But let me come back to Justice Bafo Bonnie. Lily, I was hoping that the icing on the cake of his vetting for me was when he said, I gave up my appointment, my employment, so as to marry my wife, so that my wife can continue with the prison service. Isn't that beautiful?
It's actually very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Love is a beautiful thing.
Very beautiful thing. Very beautiful thing. And such a person has gone through the ranks and has become our CJ, has seen it all. And you think that we are not going to have a very good judiciary? He has proposed. And I'm happy that he said they are thinking about implementing 24-hour economy in the court system. He said it.
But you know, he one of the things he said that came to the fore was that it was something that the judiciary thought about even before the NDC thought about.
Yes, that is perfectly well. But all that is he said, if with what you have repeated, is just alignment of thoughts and development. That is what was missing in the behavior of NPP yesterday.
Okay.
Now, let me remind NPP folks here: even if NDC reduces their number by 100, there will still be more than the NPP. They indicated yesterday that they were not going to vote for the Justice when the reports come. I mean, it was just for the sake of the record purposes. Justice Paul Bafo Bonnie, Bokobaya, Bokobaba.
Mukwaya ni Mukwaba.
You said it. If you remember 2000 election, that was one of the slogans of NPP. Mokwaya ni Mokwaba. Good. Obake. So, you see, someone is gone. Someone is gone. Habemu's new Chief Justice. We have a new one. I mean, I can't wait for... I believe that by Friday, the report will be laid, maybe as early as tomorrow. But voting will be done on Thursday. Friday morning, the president swears him in as the new Chief Justice, and the ideas he has, Justice Paul Bafo Bonnie, I mean, the ideas he has. He said he has been at the Supreme Court for 17 years. He has seen it all. 17 years. Either he has seen President Kufuor, Atamils, GHOne, Nanado 1, 2, and he's seen JM2, His Excellency John. I mean, what else institutional memory do we need than this man? Yes. And again, people like Ishak and people who think like him should be able to advocate for us to have the senior most at the Supreme Court to be like the automatic Chief Justice, except in exceptional circumstances where something else prevents them. Justice Bafo Bonnie is the senior most there. Yes. So for me, all the things he has said, he has seen it, all that had been in his mind, all that he might have suggested, all that others might have suggested. I believe that the 1.5 years he has in office, if he's able to lay solid foundation, the judiciary will be happy. Then again, let's ask, how come the Association of Magistrates and Judges never commented on the Tokono issue? The judicial staff, they even went to them. They even went and met them. Video and everything. The president of the judicial staff, Samuel Afote, is my classmate, was my classmate at the LLB level. They met them. We saw it all on TV. They were even behind Bafo Bonnie yesterday. So for you to say that the ordinary or reasonable person, and in any case, the reasonable person he's talking about, it doesn't mean the person who is thinking. No. All that he meant is that anybody on the street, somebody on the trotro, the reasonable person, if you listen to them, they say, cool. And her case was made worse when she said ECOWAS court should grant her some millions of dollars of our money when we are already struggling to survive here. But by the way, when was the last time Ishak talked about fuel prices? You were here. Fuel prices are dropping.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's not talking about it. I mean, if you continue this way...
Let me just clarify.
You are going
something.
to be in opposition for a very...
Oh, you want to talk about the fuel prices?
No.
Because it's not part of the discussion.
It is not...
Yeah.
Let me make something very clear. There's nowhere I've argued he will not be a suitable Chief Justice.
Okay.
I've not made that argument. The fact that he has served for 17 years, it's is a plus. So there's no way I have argued he will not be a suitable Chief Justice. But the argument, even the minority is not saying he will not be a good Chief Justice. And the minority have not said that he's a member of the NDC. And there's no way I have argued he's a member of the NDC. What we are arguing is that there is a need for a clean sheet for him to take over, if that is the case. That's all. So they are not arguing that he will not be a suitable person. But in terms of what I said, a reasonable person, and apparently he has been checking social media, I won't be surprised if he has been checking NDC channels. The mainstream social media agrees that the removal of the Chief Justice was just wrong. The excuses that they use. So I'm not sure what sort of social media is he checking. So the social, of course, there are minority NDC voices in social media. That is clapping for the president for what he has done. But for me, majority of people is saying that she has been unfairly treated.
Let's look at some of his submissions, especially on the back of community instead of custodial sentencing. What are your thoughts?
Yes. So one is, I have been to Sawam several times. You could see the place is choked.
Very.
And I've been to various police stations, especially in northern Ghana. The facilities are not just there.
So
and some people are on remand for several years. In fact, there was this guy who came to use our services. So we ran a kind of charity at the UPS. We've got a legal clinic. And I had the opportunity of interviewing some of them. There was somebody on medic charge who was there for about 6 years on remand. Yes, so it makes sense that community sentences would help ease up the crowding issues in the prisons. But just like elsewhere, we have to be very careful because there are controversies surrounding this. It depends on the nature of the crime. We could even have suspended sentences, or people can even receive warnings. Or perhaps, if our system improves, we can have on-the-spot fines. So, yes, those things can work. They will help ease out the system. Because I heard recently, was their daily feeding increase? I think from 1 cedi or 2 cedis to 5 cedis. I mean, how can this day and age you use 5 cedis in feeding a prisoner? It's almost amount to the definition of torture anywhere in the world. Yeah, so I agree with them because, you see, the prison service, you might think they are criminal. They deserve to be treated anyhow. But the truth is that it is not people who actually commit crime that goes to prison. Anybody at all could go to prison. There could be miscarriage of justice.
Yes.
But, or even if somebody is even guilty, does that mean we must torture them? So I agree that we need serious reforms because of the way the system is choked. Either this Chief Justice or not this Chief Justice, we have always needed those particular reforms. And I will argue for them regardless of government.
Counsel.
Thank God that finally Justice Bafo-Boni is receiving good reviews from Ishak. Once you see a good thing, you will like it. Yes. And the reforms he is proposing will be far-reaching. The truth of the matter is some of our structures are not developed for us to adopt or adapt. Yes, certain things. Yes, community sentencing. My brother mentioned there could be warnings. Yes, we already have warnings, but depending on the type of crime. Even we have reconciliation. And, if the offense is not a felony. So we already have some of those ones on our statutes. The problem I have, however, is that previously they used to take the judges to the prisons to see the overcrowding and see the conditions so that when they are sending people there, they will be able to have at the back of their mind where they are sending the persons. I am pleasantly happy that he has mooted at the idea of decongesting our criminal system. He has also, you see, one way also is the refusal of bail. Sometimes it's too much. Somebody has stolen just some fingers of plantain and they refuse him bail, even if the person says, I'm not guilty. Then they refuse him bail. You could put him on self-recognizance bail. You will be surprised that even the MP who is alleged to have incited the mob against Naimos, MP was granted bail with so much surety. If he can't meet it, he's there. I mean, things like that. We should add a bit of reality, common sense, not necessarily the law to this. And I am happy that Justice Bafo-Boni said he will look at things like that together with the Attorney General. The other thing that he said, which the future generation might benefit from, is admission to the law school. He says that, yes. He says that it is not that they are churning them out. If you say to churn them out, it's like, just let them go.
But he admits that we don't even have enough lawyers.
Yes, persons, all of them are in a certain area of Greater Accra. And
even with that, we still don't have enough across the country, because the threshold is 250.
Yes.
But we still don't have enough.
Then he also talked about the fact that there are 116 district courts without magistrates. And he wants to bring the idea that we should have career magistrate back. Currently, by the Courts Act, you need to be at least 3 years as a lawyer to be a magistrate. And then the magistrate goes and is earning maybe 15,000, 19,000 or whatever. Then the lawyer thinks, come on, if I'm able to work hard, I'll be able to get that much in my house, in my normal private practice without going this way. So they should look at not just bringing the career magistrate back, but what goes into the remuneration of them, or what entices people to go there. That is another thing we need to look at. And I am pleasantly happy with some of the ideas he has brought. Then, of course, he's also talked about the e-justice system that he's going to bring, and the fact that allocation of cases will no longer be done by manual and things like that. He also talked, interestingly, something that was previously abused by apostles of democracy and judicial independence, is that when you file cases at the Supreme Court, they will tell you date to be assigned later. But he wants a situation where when you go and you file, the system generates and say, you are coming back tomorrow morning, or you are coming back Friday morning, or you are coming next week Tuesday, something like that. So with some of all these things, I just can't wait for him to be sworn in. Then I'll get my cup of coffee and get a popcorn by my side and watch his tenure and glowing 1.5 years before he retires. Okay,
let's touch on the base pay, the increment of salary for public sector workers, the 9% increment. I have seen some labor unions saying that, well, it is woefully inadequate. And organized labor has sort of tried to calm down these labor unions. Under your tenure, we saw, under the administration of Nana Dankwa, we saw quite a significant number of increments.
Yep. Thanks to the NDC world. For them, progress means retrogression. Because, I mean, just look at the circumstances last year and 2 years ago. The economy was seriously in trouble because of these external exigencies. So the cost of living impact was quite huge. And the president saw the need to give some relief. And that was why we thought that Ghanaians deserve a good pay rise. I think it was about 30% or even more. Is it?
Yes.
33 or 30%
30.
or something like that.
That's 2020.
Yes.
2024 was 21 and 23.
Very good rise. And yet, when you took over, you said the economy...
23 and 25, I beg your pardon.
Okay. You said the economy has improved. People are still crying for cost of living issues. And what you are offering them, I mean, just do it comparatively to when we have the worst of time. And now you are presenting that this is good time. Why don't you share the good news with the rest of the country? Why are you reserving the good news? And the best way to share the good news and the good time is to reflect in the pay. So yes, I agree with them that what the president is offering is not good enough. At least Ghanaians deserve 20% pay increase. Now, he said we have made clear that the situation has improved and the trajectory is pointing to a better future, according to them. So why reserve it? I saw the president saying, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, that there is likely to be another increment next year if the situation continues to improve. But then we have already been told that the trajectory is pointing to good news. And RCO was already, my good friend was already telling me that we should talk about fuel prices. This thing is going to come back to haunt them, because they are pointing to external factors that is improving our situation to be their success. So when the external area, especially the prices of fuel, I mean, the international market usually put pressure or relief on us. As soon as there is an outbreak of war, God forbid, somewhere in the world, especially in the Middle East, it's going to reflect in the prices. So I am not sure this kind of celebration people are celebrating almost all the time. There is a less pressure coming, and then you take it as your success. It actually baffles me. And if it is true that it's a success on your part, why don't you share it with Ghanaians? And as I said, sharing the success with Ghanaian will be the increment in the pay. Why offer 9%? I'm not really sure what is the percentage, because some people say 10%, some people say 9%.
It's 9.
Yes. So I am not sure. Why wait? Give relief to the people. After all, you have forgotten that you said there is a relief. Look at other areas you have squeezed Ghanaians. Look at the other increase in tariffs.
Okay.
Yes, electricity tariffs. You celebrated the fact that you have cancelled e-levy and say it has given Ghanaian more. But if you compare that with the increase in tariffs, and apparently the Ghana Water Company is also asking to increase tariffs. So, I mean, look at that kind of pressure you are putting on them. If you balance them, is the Ghanaian worse off or better off? The increase in tariffs, for me, I know for sure I am worse off. Because usually when I buy 100 electricity, this and that, it lasts me for 1 week. These days, it's about 3-4 days, and the power is off. So for me, under your administration, I am worse off. So I'm not sure what kind of celebration you have been celebrating. If indeed there is success, don't leave it only in the textbooks. Make us feel the real practical impact of it. Otherwise, you are just telling our textbooks definition of success. The economic is growing. Our reserve has moved to $12,000. And when you talk about the rate, ask people who go to the market. The rate that you speak about is different from what is actually in the market. So for me, the base pay, I agree with them. I am not sure where organized, I think organized labor represented most of the people, because I saw a letter that mentioned organized labor representing a workers' union. And I think their negotiation need to reflect the various unions and not just the leaders deciding with government. And I think that is why these unions, probably some of these unions seem to disagree with organized labor.
Yeah, one basic economics, inflation. Inflation, those days they used to define it as more money in the hands of the consumer chasing fewer goods. So if you put more money in the hands of the consumer to chase fewer goods, there will be increase in inflation. Let me respectfully remind my brother, in 2018, when a certain political party by name NPP was in government, inflation was 11%, and the increment then was 7.5%. That time, they didn't realize that Ghanaians needed 20% increment. That it never occurred to them. I'll go further and give you another one. In 2020, when the inflation was 15%, they gave 10.4 as the increment. In 2023, when the inflation was 30%, they gave 23.4.
I thought you just confirmed you need to treat with the 30%. You are misleading the public.
Yes, they gave 30%.
The 23 wasn't 30%.
Yes, no, the inflation was 23%. And they gave 30%.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, that's just mixing. When the inflation was 23.8, they gave 25%.
Yes.
Good. So in effect, what they have given has been washed away by the inflation. It's as simple as that. It's basic. I mean, so now that the inflation is low, we don't give anything high. Simple. It's basic economics. You don't have to go. So in effect, when it was 23%, again, when inflation was 7.9 in 2019,
they gave 10%.
10%.
Yes.
They give 10%. So today the inflation is about that level, and they are giving 9%, and you are here talking about that we are celebrating. They are celebrating different things. Oh, come on, let's help our audience that the
So,
two
so
of us-
does it then mean that the increment is on the back of our current inflation?
It's one of the factors they need to that is why he said, that's what he said. One of the things they need to consider is the inflation. Because if the inflation is high and you give something small and it's wiped, then you are going to get a negative effect on the consumer. In any case, the current minister for the finance minister and the deputy, they went around the markets. They talked to persons. They heard views. All those things went into what they negotiated. By the way, this week the budget will be read.
On Thursday.
Good news is coming. It's likely to have the COVID levy to go. Yes. And new other things will come. So I believe that it is not NDC celebrating.
Okay.
Ghanaians are celebrating.
Okay.
Join Ghanaians to celebrate. The current economic conditions matches what the price increment has been given. So the price increment given now matches the current economic conditions. If it were not so, organized labor wouldn't have been so quiet. We know how they are. A very powerful movement. So I think that much as some people will feel outliers, will feel that it is not enough, they've not given them lots of money, let us enjoy even the serenity we have in the country. Last year by this time, come on, we knew what was happening. Go and look at a 5 kg rice then. Iron rods, the price then compared to today, they are different. Recently, somebody said, as at last year, when they gave them budget for their building, they couldn't. Now, they are using the same money to even procure more for their building to go on. So, Isha, basic economic principle demands that when the inflation or the economy is stable, yes, you also apply stability to your things. If you don't have, you see, it's only human beings sometimes that appear a bit inelastic. When you are earning 2,000 cedis and you eat kokonte every day, and your salary goes to 4,000, you are expecting that you eat more kokonte, but the person who now goes for fried rice. That's the sort of thing he wants us to do. When you start to go for fried rice, then the gains of the increment will be eroded. But let us live within our means. That is all we are. Otherwise, we'll throw the economy the way
the tariffs?
You say the tariffs are...
The increase in tariffs.
There has not been any yet. He's talking about the father when he buys 100 cedis those days. It helps. Now you have increased your gadgets as a result of increment in your income. Why do you expect that previously you don't watch television as much as you are watching now because things are okay. You watch nice programs. Previously you don't drink enough malt as you are drinking now because prices are stable. Now you cook and store in your fridge. Ishak, come on, enjoy. Let's enjoy the good things. But apart from the mischief that I've clearly given him. Stability is a factor. That has culminated. Last year, or the early this year, the president himself took part in the negotiation. Went and appealed to the organized labor. This time he didn't. And the organized labor agreed on what has been given. So I believe that it is the economic stability that has reflected in the salary increment.
Okay. Let me take a break. When I come back, we'll touch briefly on the presentation of the findings of that committee on the helicopter crash, and also talk a bit briefly on Galamsey. We're back shortly. Stay with me. This is GH Today. And it's still the breakfast with my guests are still seated. Theophilus Jumega Jr. Esquire and Ishaq Ibrahim Esquire. Let's talk about the unfortunate incident that happened on August 6th that claimed the lives of 8 gallant Ghanaians. And yesterday, the acting Defense Minister, that's our Finance Minister, Dr. Kisa Latif, presented that committee's report to President Mahama and then the National Security Council. Today, the report will be made public. Do you think that as a country, when incidents like these happen, we learn lessons?
I think we ought to learn lessons, but I'm not really sure whether we learn lessons. I don't have enough evidence to suggest we don't learn lessons, but we ought to learn lessons. First of all, we all know this incident was tragic. Right. I don't know many of those victims. Mutala is the one I know intimately, dating back to 1995. And then later we reconnected through the media and we have conversation. I mean, from everybody's account, this was a good man. And most of the other people know them, they are recounted. All of them collectively, they were responsible citizens, very good citizens. So we don't know what is in the report yet. For me, reports have investigations into such incidents have got two main reasons why we do it. We want answers as to what happened. Could we have done something differently that would have saved their lives? And then the next one would be, how can we honor their memory by preventing future occurrences? And that is a lesson that I think we also need to emphasize. After what happened, we need answers, even though we cannot really change the situations. And I remember listening to the recitation of Quran from Mutala and later an interview. And then he made it very clear. In fact, in his own ways, he's not even scared of death. He knows as a Muslim, every day death is a reality. So he himself knows that death can come at any time. And then as somebody who is a believer in the Quran, in Allah Hazaikatul Maut, almost every soul will taste death. So if that is a reality, so I will hope that as a country, if the report come out, maybe let's eschew from conspiracy theories and then try to understand whatever the report is telling us. But as I said, the best way we can honor their memory is to take the appropriate safeguards to make sure that future occurrence will not happen. And that should not only be limited to the helicopters that we have. I am not sure it's like what sort of helicopter we have, but it's like in most African country, they are in a possession of Soviet-style aircraft that are usually very, very old. And from my understanding, I have a friend who is a pilot. He made it very clear that the older an aircraft is less safe than it is. So for me, maybe we need to look. I'm not saying Ghana have old aircraft, but because we're a struggling country, the possibility that we're going to have an old one is higher because, the economies are not as developed as the advanced country who have strong purchasing power to go for good ones. And that lesson should extend into even our domestic airlines, where safety should be the priority. And I think so far we are doing well when it comes to that, the domestic airline, because from my understanding, the last time we had incident was around 1998 or 1999. I'm not really sure, or 2000. That's when Sheila Azentaba was the Miss Ghana then. And I think she was one of the passengers when it crash landed at the airport. But talking about disaster and the lesson we need to learn. And I think where we are failing as a country is road safety. I mean, if you travel from here all the way to Tamale to Bolga, you just know that we are doing very bad at it. And one of the problems I could foresee, if you travel like in Britain or Germany, you can see the dual carriageway is our major problem. And I think when it comes to that area as a country, it's a collective failure. It doesn't really remember, it doesn't really matter the party that is in power. Since independence, if we had had this project of doing dual carriage, from Accra to Bolga would have finished by now. Maybe every year, let's do 1 or 2 kilometers. By now, we would have achieved it. So these incidents of drivers sleeping on the opposite side and moving to the path of oncoming traffic, we ought to have resolved it by now. So it's not only government to not providing resources, but the individual learner. Because if you look through, I don't have the statistics, but it seems the average Ghanaian does not even go for driving license lessons before they become drivers. Yeah. And when they become drivers, is everybody really having a license to drive? And I think we need to look into that, because I remember I had an incident in driving at Adenta, and I met a policeman, a very unusual policeman, when the guy was clearly not having a driving license. And the policeman insisted that the idea of crashing with the other person, the issue is different from the person not having driving license. But in most countries, such as Britain, when there's an incident, even though it's more likely to be negligence, but the first thing they'll ask is people driving license. But if I show you my driving license, and the other guy doesn't have driving license, and you said it shouldn't be an issue, then that's a problem for me. Because not having driving license and you are driving should even be a constructive liability. So constructive liability is when they presume that you are even at fault because you don't even have business in having a car on the road. So for me, the lesson should not be confined to what happened to the helicopter and how can we stop further helicopter crash. Maybe let's learn it in every area that we can improve safety as far as a vehicle is there. And that's happened, and then that also brings me to Okada riders. In fact, it's a tragic situation. I had this guy, a friend called Salifu, who used to come to me whenever I need to send somebody. I traveled, and when I came back, I was calling his mobile phone consistently, and it was off. So I met a friend, and I complained, oh, has Salifu traveled, or what's really happened? I've been calling his phone. And said, you haven't heard the news. He was killed on the road while driving Okada in Accra. So that side, we really need to look into that. And the way, some countries, they make sure that there is a path meant for them. Are we looking into that? For example, I believe it's becoming a common form of transport in Ghana. And if we accept that it's now part of our transport system, perhaps we need to look into safety in that particular area. And the safety could be providing them with their own route. Or maybe guide them
and properly regulated.
Yes. Because most of them do not drive, ride with helmet. And sometimes the police, I've seen police being picked up by Okada. And the police themselves are not even wearing helmets.
I see that a lot.
You see that? So that
and
particular
they jump traffic.
Traffic, exactly.
Even with the policeman behind
it. Thank you very much. So you are more or less collaborating my story. So safety, we need to talk about all those areas so that we shouldn't be learning lessons only when it happens, but we should actually implement it very, very well. So I think, yes, there's very little to disagree in this area. I think so.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Once you are Ghana development oriented, we are on the same path. That's all. Yes. For the report that will be released today, I pray that it sort of brings some closure to the bereaved family and to Ghanaians. That we would have had enough information from the voice box for us to make decisions to understand what actually caused the crash. I also hope that nobody will play partisanship with the report and whatever comes up. You were to have done this, if you had done this, this wouldn't have happened. And we should, whilst commenting on the report, think about the sensibilities and the privacy of the families of those who had gone. But the bigger picture is retooling our armed forces with new aircraft. And also that will include getting a new presidential jet or whatever it is that we want to do. We should at the stage come together to say this is the path we want to go. Nobody should play politics with this, either NDC or NPP. That's what I expect. The only other thing I would like to comment about is the Okada thing that he mentioned. You see, that is basically down to discipline or indiscipline, depending on the way. Go to Aplau. I have a video on my phone. I took it last week. The moment you cross, every Okada rider has 2 helmets. Every. And they are all wearing theirs, and the passengers are wearing. Go to Rwanda. Every Okada rider has 2 helmets. And they also put on seat belts. Yes, so if that is the only thing that I will comment on, if we are disciplined, those Okada things will not have come. But be that as it may, the crash, the report today, release of the report today, will again bring a reminder of that Wednesday and all that went with it. I pray and I believe that would have been done, that the families were receiving or are receiving counseling and some comfort as this report is being released, so that they don't go back into another valley of depression as a result of the shock we all went through. Even as I'm talking now, I'm still remembering where I was and all this, and for the fact that we lost some very gallant men, people who had helped us all this while. So after the report is released, what next? The report will have recommendations, and I pray that we implement the recommendations to the very last end, so that what we've seen will not happen again. Because you see, accidents don't happen, they are caused. So something might have caused the accident. So the ones that are within our domain to control, if they are captured in the report and there is a need for implementation, we should do it. Again, let me appeal, let nobody play politics with the report, because the sensibilities of families involved is very crucial.
Let's touch on Galamsey briefly before NIMOS has been on expedition to arrest and tackle illegal mining. There was an arrest of a known Galamsey kingpin, according to NIMOS, and he tried to bribe the security personnel, but they rejected it. We've been talking about Galamsey for God knows how long now in this country. To the extent that people are emboldened to even attack these security personnel and threaten to attack them. Are we on course in our fight against Galamsey? This time around, I'll come to you. I'll start with you, Council.
Yes, I think that there's nobody in NDC, including His Excellency the President, who is not aware that the success of Galamsey will define success largely of NDC government as we have it today. Or events that we've seen last week are making us be asking questions: are we getting closer to the point where a lot more force need to be used in the Galamsey fight? But NIMOS has chalked some success. The person who has diverted Ayensu River at Ayensuano has been arrested. The river is being allowed to flow back in East Channel. On Saturday, Erastus Asari posted that Osino is down, and they also said an area in Western North and Western region. So we are chalking success. It is my prayer that we will give NIMOS that support, that they will be able to continue with the fight. Today I read on a platform. By the way, Ishak, one of my guys sent me a message to ask you which of the social media platforms you have been reading about Tokonu. He also wants to go there and read. so
That's just by the way.
Yes, just by the way, so take it as the mischief that is my middle name. Anyway, the other aspect is the fact that, you see, NIMOS had encountered situations where people want to bribe them. We read it. Someone came in with 100,000. A chief chased them to try and intervene. Perhaps those were the reasons why the winning of the fight was slow the last time. But I believe that, yes, they are being compromised. But I believe that with Kenabua and the rest, I think that we are on course. Let's give them the support that they need. And again, what happened in Hwidiam the last time, it has never happened before that a sitting member of parliament is released by his own party swiftly to go to the CID headquarters to be charged and arraigned before court. And the Speaker of Parliament saying that, hey, nobody is above the law. We'll release you if that is the thing that is needed. we need to commend the government for what they are doing. The fight is not an event fight that you fight today and just win it. It's a continuous one. Then again, another thing that we saw from the GHOne is when the Zongo chief came and talked, people moved back. That is why the stakeholder engagement that is being carried out by the alternative livelihood team, if they continue and do this stakeholder engagement, it doesn't necessarily mean the use of force to win the hearts of people, but advocacy will also win. So I want to thank the Zongo chief for the work he's done. We are picking a leaf from his book, as we have been doing always. And gradually we win the Galamsey fight.
Thank you. One of the things we should be able to assess whether we are really winning the fight against Galamsey is whether there is even a plan in the first place. Because the idea, the claim is that failure to plan is almost equal to planning to fail. And for me, when the NDC as a party was in opposition, and they were saying that this was an Akufo-Addo problem, vote us into power, we will resolve it. And when they took over, it's as if they did not actually have a plan. I remember last year, November, when organized labor was threatening to go on a strike, or they actually called for strike, and they met with the then President Akufo-Addo. There were two issues that came out of their meeting. One was the call for declaration of the Galamsey situation as a state of emergency, and the second one was the suspension of licenses in forest reserves. And the NDC were the very people who was pressing even more than organized labor. Because the president was able to explain to organized labor that, look, we are almost about to have election, and calling for a state of emergency could create other problems. i.e., it could affect the outcome of the election, which would not be good for the country. And the second one was that he would ask for the suspension, for the withdrawal of the mining in forest reserve if Parliament reconvened, because by then Parliament was actually in recess. And Parliament never came properly because the NDC attempted to steal Parliament as a majority. So, and I remember clearly, Honorable Aruna Idrisu was calling for a state of emergency to be declared. The now communication minister was calling for a state of emergency to be declared. The then opposition leader, who is now President Mohammed, made it very clear that he needed 4 months to clean up the situation. Now we are in the 10th month. And when they came, especially if you said something was ecocide, it was threatening the life of the nation, one would have thought that you would have celebrated some success as part of your 90 days. But what did we see? The suspension of the licenses in forest reserves more or less became mute. They were no longer talking about them. And when some of us were reminding them, they kept shifting the goalposts. Now they said they are going to suspend it. So that's an area. It's like they never had a plan there. What about the state of emergency? They seem not to even care about it. President Mohammed and his minister only begin to talk about Galamsey if there's fire on their feet. This was why when the religious leaders and the consensus met him again, look at his attitude towards it. He was very relaxed. He didn't see it to be a problem. And when they said declare a state of emergency, I mean, what he said to them was very, very depressing to me. He painted a picture that even Ghana doesn't have a capacity if we were to declare a state of emergency. Because one, he said the security services were already tied elsewhere. So to say that they are already tied elsewhere is to paint a hopeless picture.
Okay. That
not only that a state of emergency were not suitable, but even we don't even have a capacity to do it. And then another point he said was that it wasn't the right time to declare state of emergency yet. But when you people were in opposition, you were saying that what we needed was to declare a state of emergency. And you said it's not time. And you claim there are other tools in the toolbox that you have not used yet. But what have you been doing? For 9 months, you still have some tools that you have not used for something that you painted a picture was threatening the life of the nation. So for me, these are a bunch of people who just conned Ghanaians in 2024 that they were the solution. They are not the solution. Because the NIMO that they have said, what we have told is that they are seriously under-resourced. Look at when you see the video. I saw a video of a mob attack on their officials. This is a group of people who are not well equipped. Because back in 2024, we have had enough information that the Galamsey meant business and they were well armed. How can you send people? They were more or less holding something one could describe as sticks. If somebody is well armed and you are sending a team like this to go after them, and you are not properly arming them, I'm not saying you should prepare them for war, but if you're not going to declare a state of emergency, then put resources at their disposal that they could at least help to protect themselves. So for me, we are not going to win the fight because of their attitude towards it. They are not seeing it to be serious. They are playing with it. Okay. And for me, and again, as we said, it seems for me, one party will not be able to win the fight. I believe we need to take it a holistic view. The whole country, the chiefs, the politicians, the businessmen, almost everybody, especially the people who are profiting from it. We need to make clear to them that time is up. This one, we've received enough damage. Okay. And I understood Brazil had a similar problem. South Africa have got similar problem. They have managed to resolve it. Perhaps we need to learn from them. What have they done that have worked that we have failed consistently? Because they say the definition of madness is consistently doing the same thing and expecting different results. And in this particular station, we seem to suffer from collective madness.
Just a quick one. Let me just rebut before we go.
Okay.
Who brought the LI in first place before we are thinking about repealing?
The previous
government. And today they have the moral right to talk about it. Now, between 1st January...
You don't think they have the moral right to talk about it? Because you mentioned that you're going to... It was one of the fundamental things you're going to do, repeal it. But upon coming into administration, the first things you thought about was amendment instead of repeal. Yes. Now you're going to repeal it.
Now the process has started, so we can talk about it. 9 forest reserves, which were no-go areas under MPP, had been reclaimed. Between 1st January and 7th January 2025, 450 licenses were granted by the NPP. As we talk now, Akunta mining, that the president then, Akufo-Addo, watched the faces of bishops and the clergy and told them that as he was speaking then, that afternoon, Akunta mining wasn't mining. He said as he was talking. They were not mining. That afternoon, Akunta mining is in court, one of the kingpins. Yesterday, we have been told a kingpin was arrested. The day before, a kingpin was arrested. What else are we talking about? They never. And to send an MP to parliament to court on the back of incitement for Galamsey wouldn't have happened under MPP. Never. Okay. It wouldn't have happened. A member of MPP, now it wouldn't have happened. So for my brother, finally he crash landed on the fact that we needed a holistic approach, an approach that we all need to join forces. And that is what the Osahini said the other day in Parliament. So come on, join forces with us. Look, NIMOs that were in Hwidim, Ishak, if you understand what they were going to do, they were going to do recce work. That is to pick intelligence. When they came across what they found, then they couldn't have gone back. Can you imagine what would have happened if they had fired even one warning shot that Sunday with the crowd around them? Even one more, assuming they were heavily armed with everything, even assuming they had an armored car, and they had fired just once, what would have happened? Would have been singing a different song now. But the colonel and his people use very good control mechanism. Please, let's praise them. Once you have saying that, let's use a nationalistic approach. Let's praise them. For me, the Galamsey fight will be won. You see, we cannot, we've said it here before, Galamsey had been with us since time immemorial. Just last week, EPA has closed down a champagne manufacturing factory in Kumasi. That is also success. That is we don't expect that people who are endemically and structurally fixed with Galamsey to just leave it the following morning and say we are following you because a new government is in power. No, that is why we are working on the minds of the people, and we are also taking all these steps. Forest reserves claim, please get in touch with the presentation that Honorable Kofi Amabua made when the president met the CSO. When was the last time the Catholic bishops made a statement again about Galamsey? We can't remember, because progress is being made. When was the last time the CSOs against Galamsey have come out? We can't remember. When was the last time your people, apart from one major station that I knew, when they were about to start their news, they would say, hashtag Stop Galamsey, apart from them, which is also causing a glut in our ears.
But you don't think that they need to keep at it so that we are reminded?
No. Change the way you do it. It becomes like, you see the way somebody sneezes and say bless you. So when you tell the person bless you again, it's like, do you think I have sneezed? That's the sort of thing. I change the strategy. Yes, we are aware, and we are working very hard to eradicate Galamsey to the level. I mean, you are aware also that a lot of excavators are sitting at the Bema camp that have not been claimed. You are aware that hitherto excavators were never licensed. They never had license plates. But all those things have changed. Nobody in NDC, is unaware that Galamsey can be our Waterloo. The seriousness with which the president has tackled Galamsey issue should be commended by all.
Okay.
The president never said within 4 months he's going to stop Galamsey. Never. If you are having doubt as to the policy direction of NDC, get in touch with our manifesto.
Okay.
I am well aware about their policy.
Okay.
They have a very confused policy. So that reminded me, the Minister of Interior made it very clear, if they arrest a foreigner in Galamsey site, they were going to deport that person. Instead of prosecuting him and put him in prison in Ghana, we are going to ship our problem elsewhere. Can you take this government seriously when it comes to Galamsey? And a report has shown that majority of the people who are in Galamsey are actually foreigners. And yet, if you really have a good policy towards it, your interior minister is making it very clear that if they catch somebody with Galamsey, they are going to reward him, because reward is sending you home.
Okay.
Who does that?
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here in the studios this morning. And that's Ishaq Ibrahim Esquire. He is a lecturer with the UPSC and a member of the NPP Legal Directorate.
I also practice.
He's also a private legal practitioner, by the way.
So don't let you get all the job. I'm not advertising. I think the rule doesn't allow me.
He's a private legal
practice.
He teaches law as well.
And he's good with constitutional law. apart from today that he doesn't want to talk about constitutional law.
Theophilus Jumagajine Esquire is a private legal practitioner as well. He's a mining engineer and a member of the NDC legal. You're a member of the NDC legal team?
Yes, I'm a member of Linsod. I'm a member of a legal team. I'm a member of the communication team.
Okay, so he wears many hats. Yes. Anyway, my name is Lily Mohammed, the journalist. I am back shortly. But before I go, if you're a food lover like I am, let me tell you about the biggest culinary explosion that will happen here in the Greater Accra region on the 13th of December 2025 at the God Park at the Accra Mall. It's an Asanka affair. It's presented by the Osei Komedianipa in partnership with the EIB Network, GHOne TV, Star FM, Kasapa FM. This is not just a food festival, it's a cultural movement. Tickets are selling fast, so please grab yours. You want to purchase a ticket, visit www.eduanipa.com or simply dial *714 *703 hash. *714 *703 hash on all networks to purchase a ticket. Tell a friend to tell another friend that it is fufu on a pack 2025. And so I want to see you there. Let's enjoy some good fufu and Asanka together. Now, if you're suffering from any of these diseases or conditions, I have some good news for you. If you're suffering from stroke, from diabetes, from heart diseases, from spine, liver, and kidney problems, the Roman Ridge Traditional Chinese Clinic has solutions for you. They provide treatment and management for all these conditions. They are located opposite the Indian High Commission at the Roman Ridge, Accra. You can locate them at Roman Ridge, Accra, or you can call them on 0546450672, 0546450672, or 0556121863. They work from Monday through till Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. On weekends, they're available as well, Saturdays and Sundays. It's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, for parents out there, lend me your ears. Changing your baby's diapers regularly, especially after they poop, or every 2 to 3 hours for newborns helps prevent rashes and then infections. Always make sure that you're wiping from the front to back, especially for your baby girls. Clean gently with water or mild baby wipes and allow the area to air dry before putting on a fresh diaper. Wear your baby in Flora Kids baby diapers. They keep your little ones dry and comfortable for longer. Flora Kids diapers are highly absorbent. They are gentle on your baby's delicate skin and can keep your baby dry for up to 12 hours. If you want to become a distributor, simply call the number 0243 033 033 0243 033 033 and become that distributor. If you love fine things, like I equally do, let me introduce you to authentic gold jewelry. Now, this is pure Ghanaian gold crafted into eternal elegance. It is from the heart of our soil to the soul of your style. Gold ball jewelry weaves heritage artistry with modern luxury. Every piece whispers stories of tradition, beauty, and unmatched excellence. Now, for those of you who purchase gold board, this is what you're getting. You're getting pure, locally sourced Ghanaian gold. You're getting artistry that honors heritage while embracing contemporary luxury. You're also getting timeless pieces designed to elevate every movement of yours and every moment as well. To purchase, our showrooms are located across the nook and cranny of this country. But let me specifically tell you where they are located. In Diamond House, Kimbu Road, you can contact them on 055 581 0005. Diamond House, Kimbu Road, here in Accra, 0555 581 0005. On the Oxford Street, we have a showroom there as well. You can contact us on 055 6771 438, 055 6771 438. On the East Legon, at East Legon, we are located at the Otele Avenue. The number to call us on is 055 3163 811, 055 3163 811. We also have a showroom on the Spintex Road. We're located at the Marina Mall on the Spintex Road. The number to reach us is 055 6771 414, 055 6771 414. We're also in Tema. In Community 11 is 055 6771 415. We're in Kumasi as well. For those of you who live in the Ashanti region, we're located at the Ampoma Arcade. The number to reach us is 055 6771 416, 055 6771 416. We also have another branch at the airport. So if you have a quick trip to Kumasi, once you get to the airport, we have a showroom there at the Prempeh International Airport. You can simply call us on 0531 040808, 0531 040808. My name is Lily Mohammed. Stay with me. I'm back shortly.
There she comes, Rosamond Akwoko Ajit. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you one more time. Ayeko is what we say to you. Rosamond, congratulations to you and keep it going. Is Ridwan Karim Din Osman for winning the award for
Okay, so that beautiful business reporter is in studio. Interesting how you barely see her in studio today. Today she's in studio. Rosamond Akwoko Ajiti Boateng Adai. I am the only one that does that to her.
I know, right?
Good morning, Rosamond. How are you?
Good morning, Lily. I'm doing well.
Okay. Well, I call her Lagata, by the way.
It's coded, right?
Yes. But congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Walk us through the stories that you... How many stories did you file at the GHOne Awards?
So I did two
stories.
I came out with what I love doing most. That is the business aspect.
Okay. What stories did you file?
I filed for the business, and then that was the disability.
Oh, okay.
You remember the lady, the University of Ghana, the final year student who had the cerebral palsy. That story, yes. So I filed that, and then that was the Momo story.
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay. The Momo story. What was it about?
It was the armed robbery versus Momo agents looking at the killings every day, doing their work, and then so I decided to go and do a deep story on it. So I had to engage a survivor from that, and for this story, it's a lawyer a lawyer student who was going to be called to the bar a day before he witnessed that incident. He was shot after his work, and then I think they came into the shop and took everything away from him, and they shot him in the head and then the hand. But God being so good, he was taken care of early, and he was okay. But he missed the passing out of the law. So after the incident, he decided to walk out from the business. Then I said no. So after engaging him, I had another incident at SEMA. For him, he was fortunately, he was not shot, but they took away a huge sums of money. And then he also, he's scared of his life, and he's thinking of also coming out from the shop. So I had to do one or two, speak to the IOCO, the Chamber of Telco, and other agents in the industry. Yeah, that's why I was able to file, looking at the way, how dangerous the business is. Though we normally see them everywhere. At each corner you see a Momo agent, but they are serving us, and their lives are always in danger. I think, looking at that, I said, no, why don't I do something special? And I'm glad this came out.
At the end of the result, it did.
Yes.
And if you know Akoko, she's very diligent. I mean, she heads our business desk, and she's very diligent. She'll be on my tail. The story must go. We must do that interview, and she will insist on it. Yeah. But for you as a business reporter, I mean, now you are judged the best in the country, and for you as a woman as well, how do you feel?
I don't know. I can't tell. In fact, I am.
Were you actually anticipating that award?
No, not really. I was like, come on, because mostly it's mostly the male that the male journalists always going for these awards. So when they called out my name, I was like, yes, this is something I'll be
yes, that is Lagata.
Yes, as you can see, and I'm very happy. In fact, I was so proud of myself for once.
We are proud of you.
Going out for this was just amazing. And I would like to thank my cameraman and my editor. I've been fighting with him every day, Makadwala. We used 1 month for this story. And I'll say, Adwala, I don't like this shot. Let's go with this. And he's very patient with me. We'll fight, and then we'll come together, and then we'll we think of what to do. So wherever Adwala is, he should know that he's dearly to my heart. Yes, and my editor, Bruno and Issa, I will be on their neck. Issa, 2 days, Bruno, then you see as you can testify in the newsroom, we'll be fighting. I said, no, I want this shot. I want do it this way. And he's like, no. And then our Alice.
Yes, our boss Sukina. Boss, this morning they have to do us fine.
Yeah, no.
But she's an amazing boss. She's an excellent boss. I mean, she's somebody who knows her onions when it comes to the job and leadership. And so we appreciate you a lot.
I'm very grateful for them. And I think the whole newsroom, you like this, going to read the story. I said, Lily, I want to read it like this, and it is done for me. So I think it's for all of us. It's not just for me. It's for all of us. Because this story, and Musa was my former colleague. Musa also played a very good role in this story. And then Nadima, I gave it to them. Calvin, in fact, everybody played a role in this story. So I'm not surprised it came out, or it was adjudged the best story for the year. Yes, because we all contributed a lot into it. Yes, so I am glad. I'm grateful.
I mean, going forward, journalism for you. Is this going to spur you on to do more stories? People say that journalism is such a thankless profession, but this is your thank you, right?
Yes. You know, I love journalism, especially telling stories, features. Give me feature and that is it. I love to go out, exploit, especially with the women, talk to the women in the market, are great everywhere. So I think this award is just going to give me more, how do we say, the strength, the zeal to go ahead and then bring out more stories, to tell the stories of these women and then the men, these businesses out there that need to be told, their stories need to be told. So I think it's going to give me the zeal to go out, to do more. Looking at what happened last Saturday, I think I have to do more, and then if not to get more awards, especially with this competitive category.
Let's look at the business space, especially business reporting. We often don't find a lot of women in there. What attracted you to business reporting?
So I remember my first time as an intern, my hope was to be just a journalist. So I went in and I did one story. I think it's on the names with the death and birth registry. You are not supposed to add Nana to your name.
Certain prefixes.
Yes. So I did that story, and I think it took a month. It was even taken to Parliament. They debated on it a lot, and then I had to do some changes. So my then editors told me that, no, Akoko, I want you to do with business. I told him I don't have any business about it, and he said, no, it's business I want you to do. I want to train you to be a business journalist. From there, he started training me. I'll go out, do business stories, and he was impressed. And he told me that I shouldn't move to any segment or any sector, but I should focus on the business. But he sees a future in me, so I'm sure he's late now. But I'm sure wherever he is today, he's going to be proud of me for making his wish come to pass. Yes. And being a business journalist, a female business journalist, is quite challenging. Most of us, we are not many. We go out, even finance, when it comes to finance, we are not many. A few of us, and those who even come, they also have to leave to other field because they think that even breaking down the numbers, going to the field
and truthfully, every time I'm crying and I'm telling her, Akoko, the numbers, I don't get it. But I hope has a lot of patience, you know. I'm not sure. People say I have patience, but I'm not sure I have the patience Akoko does. She has a lot of patience. She'll help you. She'll make sure that you understand it. So she does so well in crunching the numbers.
Sure. So I think if you don't love something, you will not do it wholeheartedly. But I think looking at the lab or the training I had, I was like, let me go with it and then do it out of my own best. So I think so far so good.
So far so good.
Yeah.
So for businesses out there, if you're looking for somebody to tell your stories on your businesses, if you have any idea that you think that you'd want to be churned out, this is the lady to look out for. And this is obviously the network to look out for. We have produced the best reporter, the best business and economic reporter in the whole of the country. She's is not just anybody, but Rosemond Akoko Ajete Boating Adai. But Akoko, the lady who crunches the numbers, Finance Minister, I know this is off the what we're discussing, but Finance Minister is presenting the budget to Parliament on Thursday.
Sure.
Do you have expectations?
Businesses are calling out to him. They want more of their taxes to go. Yes, and then we are looking at the toll booths. I think they should bring back the levies. The toll, it would do us a lot good if they should bring it back, yes. And then I think, the taxes, we should look at taking some of these levies. We go out to the shops, we buy things, and these NHIL, all these things must be scrapped. So we are looking out to me, and we know that they said we should look out for a promising one, something good that will make the economy grow. So Thursday, we'll be expecting something more promising from the finance minister. Yes.
But so far, what is your assessment of the economy so far?
I think if we should go ahead with this discipline, we will experience this single digit, and the city is going to be the best, if not Africa, the world. So I think the industry players are doing very well. Atu forcing, and then the Bank
Atu is forcing,
and that of Isiama, Dr. Isiama.
Yes,
I think the discipline is very encouraging, and I will be glad they will be able to maintain that. Continue.
But one of the issues that have come up lately is the rice glut. And the complaint of farmers.
Another challenge. Yes, you speak to them and it's like, their hope was on the minister talking about the buffer stock getting more, but it looks like it's not helping, because just last week they brought out a release talking about the 200 acres of bags of rice not processed and it's going waste. Looking at all these things, I think should government come in, we've been hearing a lot from the senior high schools complaining of shortage of food. Should government go in, patronize from these people, and then we eat our own, we feed on our own? I think these farmers will also be able to be happy and then make profits out of their ends. So I think government should focus more on it. Let's get, if not, the buffer stock should get more into it, get it, and then let's use it to feed our people. Yeah.
What do you think is accounting for this? I know this is off the topic, but I am wondering, some farmers say is the insatiable taste for imported rice. Is that the case, or we're just not investing in rice production as a country?
I think we are not investing, and just like you are saying, the taste. Most of us, we are getting used to the foreign rice, and
the
we know that
ones,
once you are seen eating the imported rice, they think that you are the best. But eating the local, the inferiority, even the name is not even attractive for anyone to go for it. So I think now, should government make it a priority for us Ghanaians, we should halt with the importation of these rice and then focus on, if you don't get these imported rice on our markets, I'm not sure we'll go out there to get it. But once we have what we feed on what we have, we end up loving them and then enjoying what we've grown for all these years. And these farmers, I think, once they see that the patronage is high, they are going to put in more beds. They should get them their tools. They should equip them enough, and then let them bring out the best in them. Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. Thank you very much. And once again, congratulations to you. Rosemond Akoko Ajete Boating Adai is the best business and economic reporter in Ghana. She was a judge at the 29 GHOne Awards in Kumasi over the weekend. That should do. Bring your birthdays. But let me tell you about the latest from MTN. For those of you who love MTN Free After One, prepare for the upgraded experience. That is MTN Free After One Extra. Now, let me tell you what the extra is all about. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes of talk time, which means for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute and you get to talk for 60 minutes straight with no interruptions whatsoever. You like what you hear? Well, there's more. You also get 50 megawatts of data for free after your first call daily. So you see, now's the time to talk extra on your MTN and with all the people that you love. To subscribe to this particular offer, all you need to do is dial star 550 hash, star 550 hash. Again, star 550 hash. Follow the prompts and then you can enjoy your MTN Free After One Extra. Let's do some celebrations now. Happy 50th birthday to a selfless servant of God, a good shepherd for an end-time generation, a priceless gift from God to mankind, a father, a leader, and a friend, Pastor Moses Afele Ahitub, affectionately called Brother Moses. We thank God endlessly for your life and happy birthday to you, Akoboache, from the entire newsroom. We wish you an amazing and belated birthday, Stella. May God grant you great memories and endless success. Keep shining, keep smiling, and keep being the amazing person that you are. Cheers to another year of greatness. Glorious, fantastic birthday to an incredible, amazing brain and loving nephew, Seth Ayimedu Opoku, who enriches our lives in countless ways. You carry your responsibility with courage and wear your smile like a crown. May your dreams continue to unfold in the most beautiful ways. Lots of love to you, our darling Seth of Western Region House of Chiefs, from to you, marking any significant milestone. We say congratulations to you as we congratulate our able winners at the 29 GHOne Awards, Rosemond Akoko, Ajete Boateng Adai, and GHOne Karim Dini Osman. My name is Lily Mohammed. Thank you so much for staying tuned in on behalf of the entire team led by Ibrahim Alasan, Eugene, all the people behind the scenes, Terry, and all the guys behind the equipment, camera, sound, light, and floor. We say we appreciate your time with us, and I equally appreciate them. I get to do all the talking, but the real work goes on behind the scenes. So thank you guys for always making this possible. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow morning.